Hey, it's John here from John Still Runs. This morning, as I have been doing a run, a Garmin daily suggested workout run, 49 minutes, heart rate 125 beats per minute average, all going well. I've been thinking, reflecting on how uninjured I've been over this last several months since using the Garmin daily suggested workout, which made me think of all the running injuries as a physiotherapist I've treated over the years, wondering if I can list all the ones that I've treated. Going to give that a go and then identify the main reason why we as runners get injured. Okay, here we go. As a physiotherapist, over the many years I have been treating running injuries. Metatarsalgia, plantar fasciitis or fasciosis, heel fat pad syndrome, retrocalcaneal bursitis, Achilles tendinopathy, soleus tendinopathy, medial head gastrocnemius strain, popliteus tendinopathy, peroneus longus tendinopathy, tibialis posterior tendinopathy, tibialis anterior tendinopathy, patella tendinopathy, infrapatellar bursitis, patellofemoral syndrome, pes anserine bursitis, pes anserine tendinopathy, mid hamstring strain, high hamstring tendinopathy, sacroiliitis, various hip strains, tendinopathies, lumbar strain. Whew. There's probably plenty more that I've treated over the years. What is the number one? Well, number 1, 2, and 3. Let's look at it as 3 main causes of those injuries. The main factors, what are they? Well, with all those injuries, what is the main factor that they share in terms of cause? Well, it is my belief that the majority of running injuries, overuse injuries, are caused by training error. Training errors, your training plan. What is wrong with it? That may have contributed to your current running injury. I wonder if it was one of those that I mentioned. The 3 training errors: too much, too fast, too soon. Let's break those 3 up a little. Firstly, too much. You're running too many kilometres. Basic. Your weekly totals have been increasing too much. You haven't kept it at the same number of kilometres for long enough to let your body tissues adapt. You might be a new runner and you haven't done enough walking before running. You might be running 10 kilometres a week and have bumped it up to 15 or 20. Tissues haven't coped, gotten injured. Or you might be running 50 kilometres a week and you've decided, I better bump this up 10% every week. It might be too much. Even 10%, the old 10% rule, golden 10% rule, might be wrong in your case. Too much. What's the second training error? Too fast. You've introduced faster running and it's caused an injury. Wow, how disappointing. You want to become a faster runner, so you're doing some faster running, but it's injured you. Why? Your body hasn't adapted to that sufficiently to allow it to occur without developing that niggle. You might be increasing the pace of your general running. So you might be, instead of running 6-minute pace per kilometre, trying to do your runs 5-minute per kilometre. Too fast at this stage. Or you might have introduced some sprints into your program. Way too fast. Body hasn't coped. It's gotten injured. Or you might be doing more intervals if you're an experienced runner and you're doing training that has interval sessions. Just too many reps, too many sets. Trying to go too fast in those reps. So running too fast, big problem unless you get used to it slowly. It's just ironic. So what's the third training error I see as a physiotherapist, exercise physiologist and running coach? Well, what is it? Too soon. And it relates to too much and too fast, doesn't it? You've increased your load too soon, too quickly. You've introduced maybe hill training before you got your base training right. Or you've introduced interval training before you've got your base training right. Your foundation. Got to establish and build that foundation first before you introduce harder, more challenging types of running, such as hills, intervals, etc. Too soon. Let's get this run done and we'll have a bit more of a talk. Run done. Walking in the last minute. The run was a 49-minute base workout suggested by Garmin. Cobweb over my face. And so I'll walk in the last couple hundred metres while we have a chat. Too much, too fast, too soon. I wonder if you've been guilty of any of those three training errors. I certainly have, and that's why I'm finding at the moment, in fact since about probably for the last 8 or 9 months, I've been using Garmin's daily suggested workouts with its mix of mostly base running, recovery workouts, tempo, interval, very occasional sprints, and it's working for me. And as a running coach, I find that a bit disturbing. The artificial intelligence works well on me, at least anyway. I've stayed uninjured for the time being. So what about you? Have you had any of those running injuries I mentioned at the start? And have you been guilty of any of those training errors that I mentioned? And what can you do about it? Well, I suggest if you haven't got a coach, get one that knows what they're doing, that's sensitive to your needs, where you are at the moment with life in general, because there's other factors that can contribute to injury: lack of sleep, nutritional issues, lack of strength and conditioning, and flexibility, or mobility, probably I should say, which more accurately. These are other factors as well. Footwear, the wrong shoes. There's quite a few factors, but the main three, I believe, to do with training are too much, too fast, too soon.